Hi everyone. My today's guest is somebody who's vivacious. She has that spark, and when you meet her, you know there's something special about her. She is veteran Lieutenant Colonel Ankita Shrivastava. Before I say hi to her, let me welcome you on my show. I'm Arthi Karthik. This is How's the Josh, and welcome to you. And now I welcome Ankita. Hi Ankita.
Hi Arthi.
Thank you so much for being on my show.
And thank you for inviting me on your show.
I mean, I had to. The day I met you, I said, oh, you have to be on my show.
I'm honored.
So tell me, बचपन से था फौजी बनने का शौक?
नहीं, कुछ अलग करने का शौक था. थोड़ी रिबेल थी शायद, और मनी मन में बाहर तो कुछ कर नहीं सकती थी. छोटे से इलाहाबाद जैसे शहर में जहाँ पर ईव टीजिंग बहुत ज़्यादा होती थी और जहाँ पर पेरेंट्स जनरली अपनी गर्ल्स को नहीं बाहर कहीं जाने देते थे, तो मैं ये सोचती थी मैं कुछ ऐसा बनूंगी जो ये सारे ईव टीजर्स से मेरे से डर जाए. तो बस ताकि मैं बाहर निकल सकूं, मैं स्पोर्ट्स खेल सकूं, ऑल दैट लिबर्टी आई कैन यूटिलाइज व्हाटएवर आई शुड बी डूइंग.
Okay. So what were the questions asked in SSB? I've heard that they ask you questions that you cannot even think of.
Yeah. The one very interesting question which was asked, firstly when I entered the the interviewing hall, the brigadier sitting over there, he asked me, how are you? I said, no, he asked me, what's your name? I said, thank you sir. So he said ki, how many times have you learned to say this word thank you? I said, I think I've been speaking since morning, I'm just revising. Thank you sir. And he says, okay, sit down. I just asked your name. So that way I was nervous probably. He could sense that. And then he said, okay, if you don't get selected in the army, and what will happen? So I said, no issues, no problem. Because I'm joining army because I love getting salutes and love giving salutes. That is one thing which I have loved about army. More than this, I don't know much about army because nobody is in the family, nobody was in the army. And if you don't select me, then I'll become president of India. I'll get, I've studied in my civics book that she's the supreme commander of all the three forces, then all the chiefs will give me the salute. So he just laughed.
Okay. And then he knew your name. And then you were selected.
Obviously.
Okay, तो fact versus reality versus जो एक ड्रीम होता है, because we envisage something and when we are there it is something else. तो ऐसा कुछ हुआ with you?
So in the academy when I went initially, I being the first girl from Allahabad to join Indian Army in those years in 1993, so I had not met anyone who could guide me what exactly happens in the academy.
Okay.
So since I was very joyous about joining, I did not try to even learn, and there was no Google obviously. So I just joined without even knowing, thinking what will happen there. But yes, when I reached there, the punishments for everything that I did wrong, that was like very shocking. For example, my dad had accompanied me to drop me to the academy, and then he took he says, I'm coming back from Bangalore after 3 days, I'll come and meet you. And my senior there came and asked me, who's Ankita Shrivastava? Have you called your dad? I said no. So go and meet him, but rolling karke. So
your father must have had a shock, huh?
Yeah, and I went rolling like a drum. Because it was my mistake that my father had come to meet me. And then he saw me with my chopped hair and everything. He says, Beta Meri, I'm here for meeting my daughter Ankita. He couldn't recognize me. मैं ऐसी भूत जैसी लग रही थी, पता नहीं क्या, मतलब I don't know what I was looking. So I was like, Papa, मैं हूँ. So that is the time I realized for everything there is a punishment chart. So whatever, if you cannot finish your breakfast, you'll get punished. If you don't report in time for the punishment parade, again you get a punishment. So it was just punishment and punishment.
So backlog of punishments bhi hota tha.
हाँ, if you fail the drill test, you don't get punishment, you don't go out, you don't get to wear those out wala dress. So it was punishment. So then I learned that this is the way of life.
So Ankita, tell me, जब आपके पिताजी ने आपको रोलिंग करने के बाद नहीं पहचाना, उसके बाद जब वो पीओपी में आए, तो what did your parents feel? What did they tell you?
They felt extremely proud of me. Obviously, my father initially had too many doubts that लड़की फौज में क्यों जा रही है, क्या करेगी, because nobody was there those days, and in fact he was quite against me joining the Indian Army. But then I snaked my way, and God helped me, and I think the universe tried to push me there and catapult me there, and I was there. That time I was very happy. And but एक बहुत मज़ेदार incident है हमारी life का. One of the cadet, a male cadet, he came to the railway station after my POP, and he asked my father that I want to marry your daughter.
Acha.
One of the cadet, and we just passed out as officers. So he was also a second lieutenant. So my father said, "What is this? तुमको मैंने इसलिए भेजा था यहाँ पे." I said, नहीं मेरा कुछ नहीं है, मैंने कुछ नहीं. It's only that he is wanting to do that. So he said, okay. फिर मतलब he was that strict कि even after becoming a second lieutenant, he had to
ask you that.
What is
how
this?
could you?
But he was proud of me as an officer. And especially when I went home, the print media that time had flogged my house. It was a small house, and people were not able to stand in that house also.
Wow.
And they wanted to just take my interview because they said ki you're the first girl from Allahabad to join Indian Army, and we would like to take a bite from you. I did not know what a bite meant
was,
also.
Okay.
But then I did at that time.
So you were a celeb that time.
I was a mini celeb.
Mini celeb. And how was the first posting like to the unit when you went?
Yeah, the first posting, I remember, again my father went along with me.
Achha.
And he kind of handed over me to the commandant.
Achha.
It was actually very hilarious. My commandant said, आज से मैं इनका पापा हूँ. अब आप मिस्टर श्रीवास्तव कोई चिंता मत करिएगा. And he looked at me, एक drop अगर मैंने सुन लिया कुछ तुमने ऐसी चीज पिया है तो मैं तुम्हें उल्टा टांग दूंगा. I was shivering in front of him. And since that day, what drop he meant, till this day,
it remains a drop for you.
I've never tasted it. I have never touched it. And I'm like, I don't know what is that drop.
Okay.
Because it got into my head, into my system only.
Okay. So were you able to adjust in the unit very easily? Were you able to adapt yourself? Because academy or unit दो बिल्कुल अलग चीजें होती हैं.
Yes. See,
it's like school or नौकरी.
Yeah. So army training, one very beautiful thing about the army training is it makes you adapt. It makes you adapt in any situation it will throw you. Jungle, you become like a jungle person. And that is how I had that training in me. I was the first lady officer to join my unit also, where everything was non-feminine. The first thing that non-living feminine thing was created in my unit was a ladies' toilet. Up till then there was no ladies' toilet because there was no lady in the workplace as such. So I could align myself very easily. And let me tell you one more thing, army chooses you. You don't choose army. If you have it in yourself that you can align with that system, it chooses you, it picks up. So I think I always had in me that alignment with the superiors, the organization, the discipline, the entire thing. I was very comfortable.
So for you it was kind of, just flew into it, and there was no
I had no issue as such. I didn't have any issue.
And after that, आपके बाद भी आई?
there were two lady officers had come, junior lady officers had come, and I could interact, and I was obviously given the task of grooming them. So what all things that I felt.
So you were like the senior
subaltern, senior subaltern, and then whatever things which I felt I should have told, which nobody told me. Nobody told me at that time. I told them, and I could groom them. I could tell them the small things, that behavioral patterns, the conduct, the like alignment with the other forces, like people from the infantry also would come. How could you interact with them, and all those things I just taught them.
Okay. So your entire service career, what do you think as an officer? I would not say as a lady officer. As an officer, what do you think was the most challenging part that you feel that you have faced, and generally people face, but still come out of it?
The challenging part was when you get married and have children, and at that same time you have to go for the PT in the morning. So I would get ready in the dark, wear my PT dress, take my scooter, my kinetic Honda, drag it to many half a kilometer away from the house, so that if I start, my children should not wake up.
Okay.
कि मम्मा सुबह 5:30 बजे कहाँ चली गई types.
And this is when you are with your husband?
With my husband and everybody, yeah. So this was one of the challenge, and especially when the child is infant, you have to feed the child. But I as an officer never said that this is what I have to do, so I need an excuse or nothing. I as an officer managed my time. I did extra kilometers of driving just to be there in time for every parade. Giving up on maybe my lunch, maybe my breakfast, maybe by many things, whatever little time I had, but doing up and down to take care of the children, as well as perform my duty as an officer, as well as be the daughter-in-law, the daughter, and the lady in the house also. You have to manage the house also.
Yeah,
it doesn't go automatic.
Exactly.
Nobody talks about that, but it doesn't go automatic. You have to plan things, you have to write
You basically
things.
have to be everywhere.
You have to be. So I became omnipresent.
But you managed beautifully.
I managed by finding out ways to manage. It was like initially when my child started going to school, every day I realized I'm the bad mother, because every day there used to be Friday को orange color लाना है. I wouldn't know how to remember कि इसको orange color का fruit Friday को देना है. So I asked some senior lady wives, मैम आप कैसे याद रखते हो? What is the way to remember? फोन तो था ही नहीं ना कि आप अलार्म लगा लो, कुछ कर लो. So then they said कि हम किचन में ऐसे लिख के रखते हैं, कैलेंडर पे and all that. So then I learned a lot while I was like raising the children and all that. So that is how I managed.
On the job mother you were.
On the job, yeah. Everything was on the job only.
And what was your last working day as somebody who was in the uniform?
Very emotional, because I had to just hang my boots the very evening and not come to the unit next day. It was extremely emotional and quite depressing also, because I felt I was like from somebody to nobody. I was just getting converted, and since I had many first in front of my name as a prefix, I was feeling more bad. And since it was my last posting was in my hometown Allahabad, the very same town where I had created history, I was hanging my military boots at the age of 38, and people thought that I'm retiring. And
this was when? Which year?
2008.
Okay.
So it was pretty emotional, and I did kind of went into a depression. But then yes, I'm a fighter. I will not give up. I thought I'll do something interesting, stimulating, challenging. And
so talking about interesting, stimulating and challenging, I think interesting is that you're an author.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So what are the books? I mean, these are your books written by you?
Yeah, these are my books. So prior to this book writing, I took up a challenge of, see, I told you I was initial batches of lady officer, and I was in an environment where everything was non-feminine. So I had acquired a lot of pseudo-masculinity in my persona by proving to the organization that I'm not a girl, I'm like fit, girly, and I'm like fit, how you have to accept me for gaining acceptance. And I don't blame anybody, because the country itself was evolving at that time. We were coming from the age of dowry deaths to no dowry deaths, because when I was small I used to read that in the newspaper. So now it was like women are coming up independent, and people were accepting them gradually, obviously. So I had almost become very masculine, and I realized that I was not going to be very successful outside, because people started running away from me by my very masculine persona, the way I used to talk, the way I used to order, the way I used to interact with the maids, the servants, everybody. So I realized, let me take up a challenge of learning how to be a woman back.
Okay.
And that is how...
This is about your Mrs. India?
Yeah.
When you participated?
That is how I decided to go to participate in Mrs. India and learn how to be a woman. That's it. So before writing my books, I went there. And when I went there...
तो जब मेकअप कराते थे तो कैसा लगता था?
और मुझे पता ही नहीं था वो मेरा मेकअप कर रहे थे, भरत एंड डोरिस फ्रॉम ओम शांति ओम के जो मेकअप आर्टिस्ट थे, और वो आईलैश चिपका रहे थे एंड आई वाज सो स्केर्ड। ये क्या परमानेंट लगा रहे हो आप, क्या मतलब निकलेगा कि नहीं निकलेगा, ये क्या चीज आप लगा रहे हो। सो दे यूज्ड टू लाफ एट मी। आई रियलाइज देयर समथिंग कॉल्ड हेयर एक्सटेंशन व्हिच मॉरिन वाडिया मैम ने पूछा, अंकिता हैव यू अंडरस्टूड व्हाट इज दिस? मैंने कहा मैम कुछ वेल्डिंग जैसा है।
हेयर वेल्डिंग,
हेयर कुछ वेल्डिंग जैसे वेल्डिंग करते हैं ना, वो मुझे समझ आ, मुझे नहीं समझ आ रहा। सो आई वाज वेरी ऑनेस्ट अबाउट व्हाट आई डिड नॉट नो एंड आई वाज ओपन।
You did not portray something else that you were not.
No, I never, and that maybe went in my favor. People started feeling less threatened. They wrote me off from the very first day, and maybe I underplayed. I don't know.
Yeah, but you still won a title, right?
I won the title of most vivacious woman during that pageant. That was another sub award. And after that, every day I used to sit and write.
But was there some kind of a conscious change in you as a person, and you started to look after yourself more in terms of the womanly attributes?
Yeah. You see all my hair. All this is all post Gladrex. I knew. Now I learn how to take care of myself, groom myself in a very, very womanly way, and to make myself look good. And I could stand. Pehle I used to sing dham. Every time whenever I used to stand or walk, it was like a very dham type of a person. Now I can stand in a proper, very demure way, I would say, in a ladylike
manner.
Like, yeah, being born as a woman doesn't qualify you to be called as a lady. You have to learn to be a lady. It's the time I started writing that I found things very funny over there. Everything was 180-degree opposite. Like everybody had got stilettos. I did not know what a stiletto is. I had to refer the dictionary what is stiletto. So मुझे पता ही नहीं था ये क्या चीज़ होता है. So and everybody got the stiletto. I was specially sent to the market to make her buy a stiletto. अभी वो जितना भी पहन के मैं कर रही हूँ, I used to like tumble, I used to fall, I felt like a ghost, walking like a ghost on those high heels. So it used to be a very difficult transition for me. So I decided to write
about your journey.
Yeah, about journey. Everybody's running without any.
What was that book title?
The book was titled Olive Green to Beauty Queen. How I went there and how, like I had never seen a gym in my life.
Okay.
Because army
you were generally fit.
I was fit. नहीं, जिम तो था ही नहीं आर्मी में. एज एन आर्मी ऑफिसर
नहीं तो आप तो दौड़ भाग करते ही थे.
हम बीपीटी दौड़े, पीपीटी दौड़े, हम बैकपैक लगा के दौड़े, हम फील्ड में कर रहे हैं. That was our PT. So there was no question of going to a gym. So I never understood what a gym is exactly. But there people they put me in a gym and मैं 15 मिनट तो मैं समझ ही नहीं पाई इस मशीन के ऊपर चढ़ना कैसे है. आई वॉज लाइक लुकिंग एट इट एंड आई थिंक सुनील शेट्टी या किसी की मम्मी थी, कोई एक्टर की मम्मी वॉज राइट नेक्स्ट टू मी एंड शी वॉज लाइक अरे वाई आर यू स्टेयरिंग एट इट. अरे चढ़ो. मैंने कहा मैम मुझे समझ ही नहीं आ रहा, मैं इधर से चढ़ूँ किधर चढ़ूँ, चल जाएगी. आई हैव नो आइडिया व्हाट इज दिस मशीन अबाउट. सो for me everything was new and I decided to write all these funny experiences in my book titled this Olive Green to Beauty Queen. So this is my book and I was very lucky enough to have getting a very nice literary agency that is the Book Bakers, and they scouted for one of the best publication that is the Shrishti publication. And उनको आगे से ही बहुत अच्छी लगी and
they would have liked the concept of it,
right? The concept. It's a very honest book, honest about telling people what I didn't know and what I learned and what I attained after learning.
But I remember a lot of your takeaways which I had after I attended your Asmita talk. So how was that experience facing audience and telling them about, you must have, I'm sure, face staged many times as well before that, but how was that specific experience which is only about you and about nobody else?
Yeah, I have a very honest experience with me, and since I don't shy away in telling people that I don't know. I take pride in telling my flaws, my inabilities publicly. I am very good at learning. I can learn and then come out as a winner. I am.
तो अभी ये जो आवा लिटफेस्ट में you came out as a winner. You did your first comedy. You know, it was a comedy debut of yours, and I remember that people enjoyed it so much. तो comedy करके कैसा लगा?
हाँ, मुझे लगा मतलब मैं हंसा पा रही हूँ सबको. अभी तक तो मैं मोटिवेट ही करती थी. I had to rewrite my script from motivational to a comic one. And see, I feel मुझे हंसाना बहुत अच्छा लगता है. मुझे पता नहीं, खुशियाँ बिखेरना बहुत अच्छा लगता है. मुझे लगता है मैं सबको खुश कर दूँ, सबको हंसा दूँ, मैं खुद कुछ ना कुछ ऐसा बोल दूँ. बिकॉज लाइफ itself is a very battlefield. Life itself has so many challenges, I will call challenges, which everybody is going through. So मुझे लगता है कि मैं उसका स्माइल ला दूँ, और मतलब मुझे बहुत मज़ा आता है हंसाने में लोगों को.
You want to give lighter moments to people where they forget about the daily humdrum of life.
And I'm being selfish here. Actually, I also forget my challenges.
Because you're thinking about all the funny moments and good moments.
It turns into my mind, and I want to make people laugh.
So how many... I don't know if you would write about your, entry into the comic world, but otherwise, how many books have you written till now?
Okay, I have written four books are here, which you can see. This is The Pink Scarecrow. This is my debut book, and this I wrote without any formal training, without any knowledge, but I wanted to write. So थोड़ा सनकी हूँ, करना है तो बस करना है. So this book, you won't believe, I wrote. And I used to edit while moving in the bus, in a chartered bus. And while my children were in the swimming pool, I used to sit outside and write that book. And do whatever time I used to get, I used to do this book. This I got published. This is a military fiction. It's a fiction, romantic suspense fiction in the backdrop of military. So this is one book. And then the second book, I took it again as a challenge during my quarantine.
So this is Ehsaas. Now you are a bilingual author?
I think I am now.
That is outstanding.
This I took it as a challenge again. I thought let me do something new. So this is a collection of I think 100 poems. Yeah, 100 Hindi poems actually. So all these poems, because when I was very young in the college, I used to write and बहुत चोरी चुपके चुपके कुछ मैगजीन्स में मैंने छपा लिया था. मतलब मैं भेज देती थी एडिटर को, लाइक गृहशोभा, सरिता, मनोरमा, कादम्बनी एंड सावी एंड जेट सेट, इंग्लिश हिंदी दोनों लिख के ना. एंड देयर वाज अ contest.
But you need to have really good control over languages when you are writing. And as an author, English or Hindi, so I mean that's kudos to you.
Yeah,
wonderful.
So there was this American Poetry Anthology contest, and I participated. And it got selected there also, and they asked me some dollars that they'll send the book. I could never send the dollars because I never had those dollars. I don't even know. And they published it, and it's somewhere in America. I don't know where it is, but that's also I won that one. I mean, I won a space in that anthology in 90s.
Wow,
that was like. And then this is a cute book. This is a book of my quotes. I'm very fond of writing quotes actually, four-liners, what you say मुक्तक in Hindi actually. तो बड़ा मज़ा आता है मुझे. जरा भी कोई मुझे घायल करता है ना अपने पत्थर से.
कुछ बासी शायरियाँ हैं जो पूरी करनी है, तुम्हें हटाकर नई यादें भर्ती करनी है. This is भर्ती so army.
So जब मुझे कोई पत्थर मारता है, so I just write a shairi, something like that.
But this is a gift of gab that you've got.
God has gifted me probably.
And but you're also a good speaker. You're also an author. So you're a motivational speaker. What are you motivating people about?
Nothing is impossible. Look at me. I failed in class 7th because I couldn't comprehend English. Then I failed. I couldn't qualify PMT exam, the pre-medical test. I badly failed in spite of doing 1 year coaching, dropped 1 year. I badly failed. I couldn't qualify. That was one major thing. And still I became an army officer, and I was like a very average student. And I wanted to become a sports person. I was like very much into sports, but then during those days, nobody would have taken me to a sports ground and all that. But then yes, ठीक है. So I feel that I can do so many things. Look at me. Though I have a list of failures as well.
So what does your husband say about all your so much of potential in his wife, that she can do so much? So what does he say?
Oh, he's married to many women and one woman.
He's happy thinking that.
He's happy thinking, oh, इतने सारे
इतने गुणों वाली मुझे
अवतार.
is there something that you want to say to your husband? I'm sure he's been supportive.
Oh, he is. He has been very supportive. Extremely. In fact, sometimes I back out because of the kids and all that. But then he says, no, you go, do it, enjoy. He has been like always telling me to go out. Go, jao. Thodi shanti rahegi, ghar mein chale jao.
No, but of course, I mean, Shanti apni jagah hai.
No, he's been very
Ankita apni jagah hai. But at the end of the day, I think husbands
he's
do
very
play
proud
a
of
role
me.
where probably they don't talk about it much. But they are there. They are the silent supporters, I would say.
Yes, I totally agree with you. It's definitely not going to happen without the support of the husband. And in fact, we both support each other. Both of us. Ours is an arranged marriage. So you'll come to know more humor about our marriage because he's from Air Force, I'm from Army.
So you should write about that in your next
I
book.
will be, and something more humor.
Clash of Forces, you should name it.
Actually,
or Marriage of Forces, you should. Marriage of Forces. Marriage of
something,
Forces.
So a lot of humor is there between me and him. There were a lot of different nomenclatures between Air Force and Army. There was a lot of confusion galore, I'm telling you. And every time I used to goof up because of that nomenclature. I did not know that this is called this in Air Force. So it was like very funny for me. But then, so I've started writing about that as well. Humor in and out of uniform.
Achha.
That will be special series on husband, a special series on
it'll
mother-in-law.
It'll have small chapters.
Yeah,
but it'll be interconnected.
Yes, it'll be interconnected from day one of my life. So yes, his support is very, very important, and he has been supporting me. And from the very beginning, from day one, जब वो लड़की दिखाना वाला सीन था ना, जब हमने अपनी लड़की दिखाई थी, ट्रे लेके चाय में, which I refused to do. I just walked like this and I went and sat there. We were very clear, we have to support each other, stand by each other, support each other's family members, and take pride in each other. The SOP was very clear. As I said in my Awalit festival as a stand-up comedy, I was told, before meeting my husband, I was taught by my senior, every senior there, that in the army, every action is as per the SOP. So I got this drilled into my head. I felt, after marriage also, every action should be as per the SOP. And I laid down the SOP, and we both laid down the SOP together. And we are following that.
Chalo, touch wood to your SOP.
Touch wood.
And Ankita, you want to say something to people who want to publish their work, or who want to write, who write so much, who are very keen, but due to something or the other, maybe, you know, what is it that a writer should do? That is it continuity, is it passion, or is it regular writing? What is it that a writer has to do in order to have books like this?
Okay, so this book, Olive Green to Beauty Queen, took me 9 years to write.
Wow.
Now, let me tell you the failure part. Very nice to talk about the success part, but nobody talks about the failure part. 9 years is a huge time. And during this gap of 9 years, what was I doing? When I won this contest in 2009 and 2022, you are seeing the book. It took me 9 years and 3 years in publishing. Okay, so it was like 13 years time it took to come out. Why? Because when I wrote my first book, I realized this has got certain flaws. I was, it is dipping, the story is dipping. I myself
You were judging your work basically.
So then I realized I have to now learn how to write much better. I have to sharpen my writing skills. Now there were only two ways to sharpen my skills. I started reading a lot. I was a voracious reader even as a kid. वो छुप छुप के मैंने नैंसी ड्रू, एनेट ब्लाइटन, हार्डी बॉयज बहुत पढ़ी है. और उसके बाद मैंने और बाद में फिर पढ़ना शुरू किया. That was one. Second, I started contributing in anthologies. Because I wanted to see my 2000 शब्दों की story क्या response ला रही है. And with every story, though the anthology editor never edits your work, it's not a very great idea. I mean, I found my way. I realized whenever I used to read my, अरे यार इसमें ये रह गया. So next time I will add this, that. करते करते I contributed in 20 anthologies. And during this process of contributing in 20 anthologies as one of the contributing author or a poet or article writer, I evolved to a level of I could sharpen my main manuscript. Out of 90,000 words that I had written in this, I brought it down to 60,000.
Okay.
And then it was accepted. So you have to work hard. That's
Be
the
at it.
only thing. Now, I will also add to all the young budding authors, please don't Google everything. Google doesn't tell anything. I went into various bookstores. Now bookstores are coming back. I used to sit there under the section of Indian writers, English and all that. I used to pick up the book, not buy any book. I didn't have that much of money. I used to just scan through and I would open the first page in every book and I would read the name of the publisher.
Acha.
I would make a note of it in my diary.
Acha.
The publisher's name, the naam and the agar phone number hai ya nahi hai, to whatever. Like this, I had a collection of list of 20-25 good publishers जो कि Google पे नहीं मिलते हैं.
Okay.
And then I send them sample work.
Acha. Okay.
So then people
So you
started.
did everything from scratch for your work.
Everything from scratch. After getting, acha, this is again a big failure here. I got rejected by 11 publishers in my first debut book.
Okay.
The 12th publisher published me. And it didn't sell because I did not know how to market it.
Okay.
I had no idea.
Have you got better now?
I've become better. Maybe I've become more beautiful. I don't know.
Okay, your
what
skill
it
sets
was.
have improved.
Yeah.
From
maybe.
beauty to marketing, I think.
Yeah, no, because no, that was also the. See, my husband told me, तुमने लिखने का शौक ना लिख दो. अब घर घर जाके बेच नहीं सकते हो ना. So just leave it. Leave it. And as an author, I really wanted to write and evolve. So I was more focused on writing and learning rather than selling it. Now I have the confidence that अभी मेरा जो लिखा हुआ पढ़ेगा तो उसको मजा आएगा. Now I myself know something interesting is there.
Okay.
पहले शायद मुझे ही थोड़ा सा डाउट होता था, पता मैंने क्या लिख दिया.
Okay.
The moment you come out of that self-doubt, your book will sell.
Wow. On that note, Ankita, I wish that your book sells and more and more people read about your journey because it is your journey and they draw inspiration. And thank you so much for taking our time and being with me on my show.
Thank you, Arthi. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful.
So that was the beautiful and humorous Ankita, who is an author, I would say a bilingual author, who is a beauty queen, who is a veteran, and who is a motivational speaker and whatnot. Thank you so much for being with me on my show today, and do like, comment and subscribe to my channel. This is me, Arthi Karthik, saying thank you so much for your time.